Alright, so I'm gonna go over creating a capsule pill sub D, as in subdivision modeling tutorial. You're gonna go from this simple sphere into this, a capsule with two parts. Within it, I'm gonna do this right here, isolate select. You'll notice how it has a shell, see? And I can rotate it, right? And you see the rotation pivot point is right there, so that it makes sense. And then I'm gonna uncheck my isolate select. I'm gonna select this one, isolate select. And you notice this one has its own shell, and its pivot point is right there where it makes sense. Okay, and I had put it a little bit deeper inside of it. You know, it really does make sense as a capsule. One is inserted into another. Press 5. Okay, and then also this is the construction history, so that I can see, you know, that it was actually built. See? So I will be checking your files to see if you actually did the work, right? So please be aware of that. Okay. From here, I'm gonna first need to build my sphere. I have a modeling menu set checked on. I'm gonna make my sphere. I'm always constantly aware of my front compass. I have my polygon count here as well. I have my channel box. With the sphere selected, I'm gonna go under inputs, polysphere 1. I'm gonna set this subdivision axes to 16. The subdivision's height, this should also be 16. So it's much more less. Okay, and I talked about why we're reducing it, right, from the other tutorial. Okay, it has to do with symmetry and having a perfect reflection, and also having to do with a lower polygon count, so you have less to deal with when modeling. Anyway, so here's our front, right? Always be aware of where you are. Super important. I need to be in a component mode. I select my object, which is in green, right? Object mode is green. So I'm gonna hold the right mouse button, and I'm gonna click and hold for a floating menu set. Just a review. Right click, right mouse button, click and hold. I want to be in face mode. Face. See how it changes? It is also here under modeling toolkit. I mentioned it before, face mode. Okay. Now I need to precisely select this many faces. Okay. And the safest way to do that is space bar, top view, left click and drag and select. That's a safe way to do it. I want to extract this. I want to yank this out as a separate shell. Okay. The way I do that is using the extract tool. Edit mesh, extract. So edit mesh, way down here is extract. Or it's also here, extract tool, or our custom shelf. Just remember this icon as well. Edit mesh, extract, as well as here. So I'm gonna click on extract. As soon as you do that, you know, a whole bunch of stuff happens. You'll notice this poly chip off floating menu. You'll notice here that now it changed in the outliner. Now you have two. You have a group. This is a group. You have two of the shells, and you have something called a transform node, right? All this stuff is happening, and I need to do something called delete history, because I'm gonna go into my channel box. When I select right click object mode, right click and hold, go back to object mode. you notice I have stuff going on. I have stuff going on under inputs. I don't want this right now. You can blow up your model or wreck your model sooner or later. I need to grab it, delete history, edit, delete by type, history, edit, delete by type, history, or it's this one right here, history. See, it was wiped out here. See, nothing there. I don't have that third node called a transform node. It's gone now. See how it's only 2 pieces and there's nothing in here. Whatever that I did, that command function is now gone and it's safe to continue modeling now. Next is I'm going to use the top view, right? This is orthographic top, spacebar. I'm going to move the shells. If you don't see it in green for whatever reason, right click and hold object mode. I want to move this and I want to do it by grid snapping movement. Press and hold X, right? W for the move tool. Press and hold X. I'm in my top view. I'm gonna snap, and that's -2 grid units. I'm gonna grab this, press and hold X, snap, and that will translate X, 2 units. Next, extrude edge, space bar, Let me close out my outliner for a bit. I have 2 separate shells, and then you notice how it's see-through. That's because of backface culling, which I previously mentioned. I want this to be in edge mode. Select your model, hold R for the right mouse button, edge. I'm gonna double click on this edge. I repeat, this right here, so highlights in red, double click, right? I'm gonna hold shift, and I'm gonna hold the right mouse button, right, together, extrude edge. Hold shift, hold the right mouse button, extrude edge. Now I have this. So what I wanna do is, I wanna pull and yank it. But look what happens. The reason why it's doing this is that it's pulling on what we call its local axes. I'm gonna undo. You notice how my gizmo is way down here and it's at a slight angle, right? That is because it's pulling at this trajectory going this way. That's called your local axes, right? The way you just fix that is this tool gizmo. You click on this little dial. See how it changes? Now if I yank on the red arrow right here carefully, see, it pulls. Now I'm gonna hold X. See how it changes here? Also changes here, and snap. See, sometimes it does this where it just doesn't, it's not working, right? When this happens to you where spacebar, get out of my way, you see how it's not snapping, whatever I do. Press W, right? W is the regular move tool. Now press and hold X and snap, right? It's good to show these little glitches that Maya does. Spacebar, I need to get out of my component mode. So I hold the right mouse button and choose object mode. Okay, next, grab that one. Hold the right mouse button, go to edge mode. Zoom in a bit. On this edge, double click it, right? Hold down shift, hold on the right mouse button, extrude edge. Same thing happens. See how it's down here? I don't want that. I'm gonna click on the little dial right here. See the dial? And that's how it changes. I'm gonna yank on it. And now it seems to be working fine. it looks as though if I don't yank on it, you know, and then I change it, and then I can hold down X and stop. Yeah, I guess that's why the other time it glitched out, because I actually moved it before pressing this. I'm gonna click outside, right click and hold object mode to get out of the component and out of the gizmo. Next, I need to use my isolate selection, which is either right here, this tool. So I'm gonna select that because I want to isolate and only see this. And I can click on that, and I can unclick it. And it's also under show, isolate select, view selected. Okay, or this one. I like to use this one. So I only want to see this. I want to make my outer shell, and the other one is going to be my inner shell. And what I want to do is, I'm in object mode. I could make a shell. I can extrude while in object mode. Usually you don't do this, but there are situations like this where you do. So I select the shell in green, object mode. I'm going to go and hold shift and right mouse button, shift right mouse button, extrude. And this happens, everything lit up. Whatever you do, do not click outside. If you click outside, you're gonna lose the gizmo, and you don't want that. So from here, I'm gonna choose local translate. Okay, hold down Control, hover over local translate Z, hold down Control. See how it changes the slider, turns into a slider. And you can pull outward, changes to like 0.35. Okay, so it's a tiny little shell. 0.035 local translate. Now my tool is still live and active, so I don't want to mess with it. So I'm gonna click outside. I'm gonna right click and hold object mode. Click outside. Now I'm gonna turn off my isolate select. I'm gonna select this one. Isolate select. It's just a thin, paper thin shell. I want to make a inner shell. So I'm in object mode. Hold on shift, hold on right mouse button together, extrude. It does the same thing. And I'm going to just local translate, hold on Control, left click and drag. Or you could just in here type in negative 0.035 on the negative, so it's inward. But when you do that, you'll notice how it looks weird. Like, I'm gonna click outside for a bit. It looks like it's see-through, and it looks like it's X-ray. Just bizarre looking, and it has a black inner shell. So that means that this is inverted, right? The shell is actually inverted. And to fix that, it's very simple. I just right-click and hold, go to object mode. Okay, with this inverted shell, I'm going to do something called reverse normals. Basically, it's gonna flip it inside out, the shell, like flipping a t-shirt inside out. That's under mesh display, reverse. Mesh display, reverse. This icon, mesh display, reverse. Or it's this one right here that we made from the custom shell. Boom, click outside, back to normal. You'll notice when I select it, you see the stuff that we've been doing. So leave this alone, right? This construction history is okay to keep for now. The previous one that I mentioned was not okay when I had to extract it. Doing an extraction modification is it does a whole bunch of stuff that makes the model unstable. I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna isolate select, so you can see both. Got a couple more to do, but I think I'm gonna cut it off right now, and then we're gonna finish off with the leftover stuff, which should be about maybe just under 10 minutes. So I'm gonna end the video. This is part 1, and then there's gonna be a part 2, and the next video is gonna be about the concept on low poly versus sub-D modeling workflow, and then We'll be done.